Welcome to Story Ideas on the Fly, where we pick a random prompt out of our hat and try to develop it. Let's see what we've got today. Guy who's dead comes back in a sci-fi future but doesn't know how to communicate in any way. So
Okay.
we're sci-fi this time.
Sci-fi,
Yes.
isekai?
Yep, sci-fi isekai.
Okay.
So he dies and comes back into a sci-fi world? Nice.
Well, and he doesn't know how to communicate, which I think sounds a lot like he's just the language has developed so much in the past, I don't know, 10,000 years that it's completely unrecognizable.
Or it's a new world, so he doesn't know
Yes.
the language.
Good point. You could also have it just be a different universe or a different planet.
No,
or whatever.
it's better not to go
It
with
says
the
in
isekai way.
it says in a sci-fi future.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
This feels like your classic I got cryogenically frozen story.
Oh, good point.
Fair enough. Okay.
Um,
So everything's different. How's he going to...
Okay, he gets, let's say he got cryogenically. Cryogenically, yeah, let's try to say that word. Cryogenically. Okay. Frozen some way, either on purpose or by accident. You know, Captain
Well, he could say
America
that he
style
nearly got killed, and then, in order to try to save him, they cryogenically froze him to try to preserve him until they managed to actually get some way to actually help him out. And, well, they forgot about him.
Okay, so he wakes up and the language has changed, the culture has changed. Perhaps, he wakes up and his country has been taken over and his people enslaved. And so the people that are walking around free speak a different language because they're from a different country. And his people are enslaved, working in slave mines, whatever they look like, or possibly put on another planet to as slaves. And he's now going to have to save his people.
You could do that.
Just to communicate in any way, which means that would suggest that there is absolutely no one who understands anything he's saying.
Well, like you said, his people could have been put on another planet.
Wiped out.
Yeah, I'd say probably wiped out.
Not only that, but language changes over the centuries. So if this is 1,000 years, another thing is these people could have developed space travel, and so Earth could almost be like a lost colony to them, where it's like, yes, this is where we came from, but we've
terraformed the other planets so thoroughly that they're actually better homes now.
And people make stupid decisions all the time, so there could be Earth could now kind of be we send things back here occasionally, but most people have moved on to other planets, and so you could almost do a stranded alone. I mean, with people obviously, but the people he does meet, he can't communicate with.
Okay, then what's the conflict?
Yeah, we definitely want a conflict.
Okay, well this sounds
depending on
type 1 point
where he came from.
Well, this is
he
why
shows up in...
I was saying, if he goes in his world, either his world or his country or his whatever has been taken over.
Yeah, but then if they bring him back, will he just be considered a slave? You're like, oh, another slave, go work in the mines.
That's the first problem. The second problem with that is slavery is not economically viable.
Yeah, especially with technology.
Especially with the development of technology. So you either have to regress thousands of years to have people go back to slavery, or basically that's what you have to do.
It's harder to make it work. It's not impossible, obviously, but
okay. Then what's our conflict?
Well, I like the idea of having in his nation have been completely destroyed.
Okay.
And then well, you gotta any kind of conflict you want. The first thing that I think of is space pirates, because space pirates are cool.
That's fair.
But there's also politics. You could have, because in a space story you can go over to a new planet, colonize it, and say, I'm now the ruler of this entire planet. Then you can utilize the entire power of a planet. Yes, exactly. Then you can utilize the entire power of that planet to say, oh, and this planet, I also want to rule it. And I've been developing this entire planet just for military purposes.
In fact, if
good point.
Earth has been kind of forgotten, could you have someone who's turned Earth into a dystopian society?
Almost certainly.
Another interesting thing, which doesn't negate that, you could do it amongst it. But if he is going to get in here and his people, the humans, I assume he's just human, have been wiped off, the planet, perhaps now he is the one that they are trying to, the civilization would like to bring humans back now.
Oh, we're wiping out all of humanity.
But
I thought we were just wiping out his country.
okay, we could do
You
that.
could do both.
But if you wanted to wipe out
Or either
humanity,
way.
you
If
could
you're
have
wiping them out, you could have people that, when he comes back, they're kind of waiting for him. In fact, they're waking him up from this cryogenic thing, and maybe even him, and then they're going to wake up a girl and say, we're going to have you recreate, we're going to have you repopulate humans.
Humanity.
Well, they can't actually tell him that, though. So...
Well,
that could actually be kind of fun, because then they stick them together with this girl who may not even be the same. Like they could both be human, but they don't necessarily
But he was from America and she's from China, and so he has no idea what she's talking about.
Like that, so they shove the two of them together, and they're like, and the guy and the girl are kind of like, ni hao.
and the people are going, well, I hope they figure it out.
This feels like now like we have two very different stories of the same.
You don't have to talk.
Okay, so now we have two branch ideas for a story. One is the humanity has
Mutually exclusive, though.
kind of are.
Oh, okay.
One of them is humanity has become corrupt, and he has to try to see if there's anything he can do to try to bring humanity back to the powerful people it once was. And the other is humanity is literally extinct, and he is the last hope for us genetically.
Okay, here's a compromise.
Okay.
Humanity is not completely wiped out, but there was some great disaster that happened that sterilized the other humans.
Or you could go
The
with
remaining
a
humans.
post-human idea.
And that right there is if you did something, suppose you had something where they thought they were going to create better humans, humanoid things. And so they start implanting computers, in things, and it does. It sterilizes them and it makes them stronger and it makes them these things, but it also hurts them that way. And so humanity, in an attempt to make it better, made it better in some ways, but everything comes at a cost. And so it really hurt it in other ways. And as soon as you start
ultimately
giving...
they couldn't reproduce anymore, and so now they're pulling back humans from,
wherever they can.
From the ancient past of 2020.
So
pretty
now,
much.
you see... Okay,
Yeah.
I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry. But then they bring back these humans that aren't corrupted, and they say, hey, maybe they can, fix humanity and heal us now by...
Well, it is one thing. If you took people, and, people a lot of times will glamorize things and go, oh, if we had this ability and we could be faster, or we could be stronger, or we could be whatever, or more famous, or whatever it is,
so
they
cool.
glamorize, and then they get it, and it's not what they think, and they sacrifice so much, because if you take people, and this is a problem in societies, if you take people and they don't have families, they don't get married, they don't have kids, then there is a lot to learn from families and parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
You know this, you've got kids,
Oh, yeah.
I got kids, lots of them.
Would be really cute.
But it really does mess up a people and make society go. And
I think we can do something. I think we can also, with the love story, have some other things going on too, because obviously this society has problems. The society has problems. There may even be larger scale issues going on in the galaxy, or in the solar, the rest of the system could be having issues too.
Yeah.
Yes. So who is our main villain?
The main villain is the
guy
politician who
transferred his mind into a computer.
I mean, he could have done that. I was thinking in the first idea we had, it was the guy, whichever guy took over the planet.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Which he
thinking
could have taken over
it
the
could
planet.
be whoever created all these chips and did all the this
All these
the
enhancements.
transhumanist
the
who
transhumanist who is doing this to the people,
Yeah.
and he obviously is going to be concerned about, hey, we don't have more people because
Mhm.
but he's going to try to somehow
Fix
clone
it with-
them or test tube grow them or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, so he's gonna have. Let's see. Does he have? So when the people are having issues, he's not gonna say he's not gonna reverse course and say, oh no, we made a mistake. He's gonna keep
yeah.
pushing humanity into this really into this self-destructive cycle. So let's see.
Unfortunately, that happens a lot.
Oh, yeah,
Instead of
it
people
does.
going, man, I made a mistake, they just
Oops,
digging
we messed
deeper and
up.
digging deeper, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so what is our hero like here? That's my big question. We've got a villain, we could develop him, we've got a basic idea, we've got our world.
So
What is our hero? He's going to obviously have woken up, be unfrozen, but who was he before he was
I
frozen?
think one idea
Mm-hmm.
is the reason why he was frozen is a big question.
Good.
Now, the easiest answer is he had some kind of genetic disease that they couldn't cure at the time, and so they put him under until they had a cure type thing. Like
Another possibility is that these I don't know, this may not work, but could you have your cryogenically frozen people just be literally frozen where they were in some kind of freezing accident and now the people and
I
now they're
like
able to
that because if we go with
destroy
a
them.
cryogenic frozen, there would be a lot of people, so they could wake a lot of people up out of the cryogenics. And so I like it being just something where he and this girl, they don't have to have known each other. They could have. No,
Or
they don't
even
because
have
they
to be
speak
from
different
the same
language.
place.
Right,
But they could have been frozen in
Right.
separate locations, but in similar
Right.
circumstances.
So
You get someone in a place that's cold, that
Well, the
stays
problem with
cold.
that is how do you have them survive that?
Well, they
Well,
don't
that's why
survive.
they
That's why they
freeze.
died. But
How
if
are they
it's
brought back?
well, what happens though is
Or would they be brought back, but they're just an empty husk? They don't have any memories.
no. Well, I'm thinking that this was
I'm thinking there's a specific set of circumstances under which a person can be frozen and kept frozen for a long enough time, and that technology has gotten to the point where they can bring them back.
I think
as they were.
the accident could have been in a science lab.
You can do that too if you need.
It could have been in a science lab.
In an
It could
Antarctic
have
science
been
lab.
in
There you go,
the-
Antarctic
yeah.
Science Lab.
okay.
You could do that.
Pseudoscience, mystical
let's say
mumbo
something.
jumbo, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Got
Okay,
it.
got it.
All right.
Which means that they're both scientists.
Not necessarily, just that they happen to be nearby when science happened.
Or you can make
Well, if we
them.
go with an Antarctic
be
science thing,
scientists,
then
but
they
they're
would
not
absolutely
necessarily-
be scientists.
No, you can make one of them a scientist and the other one be like an explorer who just loves to
Could
go.
have been skiers caught in an avalanche.
In Antarctica?
Yeah, in
No,
Antarctica.
I like the idea of
There's
like
lots of skiing in
no,
Antarctica.
make him
Don't
an
you know that?
explorer. So his whole make it so that he was a risk taker, an explorer. He would love to
Kind
go
of a
to what.
survivalist?
Yeah, survivalist who would love to go to the most exotic locations and just spend some time there and do crazy things there. So and so one day he decided make him a YouTuber. Oh
There
man!
we go.
So he does a video.
So he
on
does
how to
videos
survive
on
in
how to survive in
Antarctica,
weird
except he
locations.
absolutely
So it's
doesn't.
just like
This would explain why they went and got him, because they would have known, hey, there's this guy somewhere out there, and at the point where they really needed humans again to try to reproduce, they go out and start searching the ice for him.
There you go.
yeah, and so it's like, hey, watch me try to outrun an exploding volcano type thing. That kind
Something along those lines.
of extreme
Not,
risk taking.
yeah.
And so then one day he's like, hey, I'm going to go ski in Antarctica. And obviously he would like take safety precautions because
Yeah, but he apparently didn't take enough. So.
well, then an Antarctic science lab exploded, causing issues in his thing, and yeah.
There you
Okay.
go. Okay.
There we go. So now we have a guy and a girl.
There you go.
Okay.
The girl's a scientist.
Obviously.
Okay. So,
Alright.
okay, I think this works. We have a guy, we have a girl, we have basic story, we have a basic villain. This could be fun. There is some opportunities for some very comic scenes in there. There's some
Yes, there is.
opportunities for some very heavy stuff, some very
Mhm.
dark thing.
And
Anyway.
some fun opportunities for some fun transhumans.
Yes,
Yes.
those could be interesting to write.
Yes,
All right,
there is.
so I
And
think
they-
we've got it.
Most
Who could
humans
write
could look
this?
anywhere from a normal human,
Ooh.
stronger, to a
Who could
mound
write
of
this?
cells.
Yes, who could write
I've
this?
seen one that literally looks like a bunch of gigantic
right.
cells stick together.
Quiet.
Alright, who could write this?
I think I might be able to.
I could.
I could write this. I think this is probably more of the guy's story
More up
than
the
mine.
guy's alley
but
because it's more sciencey than us.
I could write it, but I would be asking a lot of
Science questions.
And I would
If I
constantly
were to
have
write
Michael
it, I would
telling me
make
I'm wrong on
one
my science and
difference.
having
Yes.
to rewrite. Yes.
If I were to write it, I'd probably make a big change where I wouldn't actually have the girl be from the past, and I wouldn't actually keep the reproduction thing necessary. But I'd keep the rest of the story in there and stuff.
Okay. Well, everyone writes it differently, so there's an idea. We'd love to hear how you would write it. And don't forget to give us ideas for our hat, too. We will see you next time.